This week I run less and maybe got more from it. I'm on week 4 of the block and 10 weeks out of the half marathon. Normally, by this point, I'd be pushing a bit harder, probably convincing myself I'm in PB shape far too early. But this year has been relatively different. I have been having some body niggles, some interrupted sleep. I have a new baby, a 9 to 5, and this slightly mad idea of documenting my running as well. So instead of running more, in fact this year I've been actually running less. I am cross-training more, I have been having more patience, more time staring at the wall on an elliptical, wondering how this became my life. And here's the question, or the real question for this week. Is running less but smarter actually better for me right now? Because I don't think this half marathon will be another personal best. Instead, would be a good baseline for the half marathons onwards. I think this is all about building something more sustainable versus what happened in the last couple of blocks. So let me give you some context why this block has been so different. First of all, if you are new here, thank you for being here. This channel is basically me documenting the process, the good weeks, the messy ones, and the ones where sleep is 4 hours because someone very small decided 3 a.m. was a reasonable time to start the day. I am a new dad. Sleep, as you can see, has not been ideal, and that's just a polite version. And if you head to this full-time job, filming and trying to train properly, it has been educational at least. We are now 10 weeks out from my half marathon, and if I'm honest, I don't expect this to be my fastest half marathon of the year. It might actually become the baseline, the fitness marker I build from for the rest of the year. So the strategy has in fact shifted. Less running volume than previous years, more cross-training to protect the legs. And I would say easy runs strictly below LT1, so 135 to 145 beats per minute. And that's where things get interesting, because keeping heart rate below LT1 means I'm running slower than I used to, noticeably slower. And let's be honest, our running personas don't love that. Let's speak about the week. Monday, the easy run that didn't feel quite easy. Monday has been always a 30-minute easy run for me in the last couple of years. That's been a standard on my plan. Simple, controlled, and comfortable. Except this time, I'm forcing it to be between 135 to 145 beats per minute. The weather was in fact actually perfect. Gray skies, cool air, with ideal running conditions. Good morning. So today, only a 30-minute run, easy, 135 to 145 beats per minute of heart rate, and so far so good. The weather woke up much better than it is now. It's starting to rain, in fact. But yeah, a little bit windy, and they say a little bit cold. It's fine. Let's go. The wind, though, decided to participate. First kilometer, tailwind, great. Felt brilliant, slightly optimistic with some thoughts creeping in. But from 1.5 kilometers onwards, headwind, some resistance, and here's the strange part. Even though it felt harder than the pace suggested, it ended up being a good run. Enjoyable, but what's generally challenging is how slow these easy runs now look on paper compared to my previous blocks. I feel though if the goal is really building base properly, this is the work that I have to put through. Patience sometimes can become harder than effort. About Wednesday, I would call it controlled chaos. Wednesday was a double day, 20 minutes treadmill at 2.5% incline, then 52 minutes on the elliptical. I am not a fan of indoor running, as I've mentioned before, but the good news is that there's no wind and there's no scenery. But in fact, we can call it like a controlled environment. So it's useful, yes, exciting, I would say not quiet. Then came the elliptical session, 20 minutes warm-up, 5 by 3 minutes at 167 to 177 beats per minute, with 1 minute and 30 seconds recovery in between. I managed only 4 of those reps, not 5 as initially planned. What I have been finding to be a challenge is that my heart rate takes time to climb. By the time it reaches the target zone, the interval is already over or almost over. And I felt disappointed having stopped before the end of the workout planned. Similarly, sleep hasn't been perfect. Recovery has been impacted. Life structure, sometimes it's not done around the optimization for running as we all think about. But in the end, we are all humans. And sometimes 4 reps is the session that is required for that specific day. So Thursday was the day I have questioned elliptical. Another double day, 40 minutes strength, then 1 full hour on the elliptical. I'll be honest, I don't know about you, but an hour on the elliptical is mentally challenging. It's the same movement over and over, watching heart rate, trying to hit zones that don't respond the same way they do when we run. It becomes trying in a very specific way, to the point I have actually messaged my coach asking if we could adjust the strategy slightly moving forward. Maybe mixing treadmill intervals, maybe cross-train with other exercises to vary the stimulus slightly. Because cross-training has been useful, in my opinion, but it also needs to be slightly sustainable for us to like it.
Okay, so today we are out for a 45-minute easy run, and the objective is to stay within 135 to 145 heart rate or beats per minute, and let's see how it goes. So far so good. Every time I take this camera on, my heart rate goes up heavily. So I'll turn it off and I'll come back to it later.
Why long runs still matter for me? Those are done on Saturdays, which is my favorite day of the week, the long run day. Right now they sit between 50 minutes and 1 hour. They'll increase after the 10k benchmark I will be doing in March, and they're still easy, still 135 to 145 beats per minute. The sky was grey again, almost rain, great temperature though, as you can see. Wind was still present, particularly brutal along the waterfront from the 2k mark onwards. And here's the thing, despite poor sleep, about 4 hours, and legs slightly fatigued from all the cross training I've been doing during the week, it was genuinely pleasant. That's new. Last year, long runs often felt like obligation. This year, running slower, controlling heart rate, respecting recovery, they feel calmer than last year, more sustainable than last year. The niggles that were hanging around, less noticeable than last year as well. That alone justifies the slower pace. I am also filming during these runs. I have a POV camera and the GoPro for B-roll, and every time I pick the GoPro for a shot, the heart rate spikes, making it more uncontrollable, so I actually slow down deliberately afterwards. Overall, I am in fact enjoying documenting it. So I have in fact to adapt. What this week taught me, running is good for the body, that's obvious, but it's also good for the mind, especially when life is noisy, when sleep is short, and when work is busy. Saturday's long run reminded me why, in fact, I do this. Not for splits, not for the applause, and not even for PVs, but for that quiet, steady hour where we put one foot in front of the other over and over again. And maybe that's the unexpected result of running slower. In fact, I am enjoying it, which might ironically be the thing that eventually makes us faster. We are now 10 weeks out. This might not be the block where I peak, but it might be the block that sets up for the rest of the year. And that feels like a win. No matter what, go out and do your run. And hopefully I will see you on the next one.